Alright, so today we got 24.3. Again, this is done 5 a.m. Saturday morning. This one for me is very difficult. I've been unwell since Tuesday night. I actually haven't eaten very much at all. I had my first meal on Friday afternoon. And have only been keeping fluids in since Thursday afternoon. So this is me at probably 35, maybe 40%. So I'll come to that, back to that. I'll get through the strategy first. So for me on this particular attempt, with everything considered, I was simply just looking to get through as many reps as I possibly can. Had absolutely no idea how I was going to go in terms of like how I was going to feel and all that type of thing. So what I decided on doing is basically just 5 reps at a time. So break everything into 5s and just try and manage my heart rate and my breathing. I'll let you know, during this workout it felt like I had an elephant on my chest. Felt like my lung capacity was very, very compromised. So the longer this workout went on, the harder it is or was for me to breathe. So I've had experience with that in the past, having lung issues, so it's nothing new to me, but definitely brought back some unpleasant memories. So here again, 5 reps and just taking significant rest in between each set. For those that have been following along, you'll know that I haven't been squatting due to injury. Surprisingly, that these felt okay, weight and volume wise. There was no pain or discomfort or anything like that, which is always a positive. The weight didn't necessarily feel heavy at the time, just felt like I had absolutely nothing to give. So just no drive, no energy basically. Hadn't eaten in 4 days, and very, very limited fluid as well. So just 1 rep at a time basically. I'll talk about different strategies depending on where people are at. So with this particular workout, in the first section, the first 5 rounds, most people will struggle with the chest to bar pull-ups. So making sure that come up with a strategy that works best for you. And the last thing that you want is a whole heap of no reps. So one thing that I see quite a lot for people that can do chest to bars but sort of struggle with consistency, for someone like that, you're better off keeping it to singles from the start the whole way through. So choosing a bar where you don't have to jump super high. So like for me, for instance, this bar is too high. I just went with this one because I wasn't looking to post a world record time or anything like that. For me, it was about just managing everything basically. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to get excited and think, yeah, I can do 1 rep comfortably. That means I should be able to do 2. Because what I see a lot of the time is, yeah, a couple of times you might get 2 in a row, but you end up failing a lot of those second reps and just wasting the energy on that second rep and then having to rest longer rather than doing a single, coming back down, shaking it off, jumping straight back up. So if you can do chest to bar but struggle with consistency, get to a low bar, do singles the whole way through. You're going to beat someone who gets a whole heap of no reps on each round. So if you're getting like 3 to 5 no reps each round, that's a whole heap of extra reps and waste of time and effort each round. So stick with the singles, for someone that is okay at chest to bar pull-ups, so still breaking it up into 2 to 3 sets. So whether you do sort of a 4-3-3 or something along those lines, and just focusing on keeping the rest nice and short. Again, I was taking significant rest between all my sets and still managed to complete the 5 rounds. Spoiler alert. So even with how I was feeling at 35% energy level and capacity, I still managed to complete the 5 rounds, even though my chest to bar looked like they were comfortable, which they were. It was still very taxing for me, just with how I was feeling. So I stuck with 5s, and I was resting 20 to 30 seconds between each set. So if I was even just to do singles, I could have done that a lot faster. So with my chest to bar, well, I felt fine. It was I felt my timing was a little bit off, but I wasn't too worried considering how I was feeling. But just an observation. With the thrusters, for someone that struggles with the 95 pound thruster or 43 kilo thruster, again, breaking them up, just focus on keeping those reps at rest nice and short. So again, a 4-3-3 set, or a 5-5, or a 6-4, or something like that. It's having strategic rests are better than having forced rests, because a strategic rest, you can control your rest period more than having a forced rest, where you see those rest periods blow out to 25, 30, 45 seconds, sometimes even a minute. Like we're trying to go, I'm gonna do everything unbroken, and then by the second round your rest periods are just blown out. So if you were to break it up, you're able to control, manage those rest periods a lot more. I think that's something people don't quite understand. It's not about doing everything unbroken. It's about working at your capacity and coming up with a good plan that suits you. That's generally why I don't watch or pay much attention to the open announcement, as in the top athletes doing the workouts. For what they're doing, they're working at their capacity, and their capacity is pretty much doing everything as fast as possible whilst doing it unbroken. So I'm not at that level, so I don't pay much attention to what they did or are doing. And it's part of the reason why I do continue to do this channel, is sort of to help people get that across. It's about doing their best and coming up with a strategy for themselves. I think here we're around 3 or 4. You can see here I'm really struggling to breathe. Well, I can tell you that I'm really struggling to breathe. Like I mentioned before, it felt like I had an elephant sitting on my chest. Just couldn't get as much oxygen into my lungs as I would have liked, and that's just due to just lack of energy, lack of food going through the system, or have gone through the system. Because a benefit of breaking up the chest to bar pull-ups is you preserve your hands. So I didn't have any issues with my hands. Something you'll see a lot. You'll see a lot of posts of ripped hands. If you do have issues with that, obviously wearing grips or taping up or something like that to mitigate that is always a good idea. I don't wear grips or tape my hands. The only time that I have issues with, like, and I don't really tear, it's more just blood blisters, is doing high rep bar muscle ups. So I was quite happy to not wear grips or chalk, or tape up for this one. So also, one thing that I found overdoing thrusters for many years is it's not necessarily about doing the thruster as fast as possible. Again, depending on your capacity, what I tend to do is take a slight pause at the top, and it's just sort of half a breath at the top. It just allows me to be consistent with those thrusters, and making sure obviously that you're hitting the standards, so hip crease below the knee and locking out overhead for each rep. Again, the last thing you want to do in any sort of competition is, you know, get no reps, because it's a waste of energy and time. So if you can obviously make sure that you're hitting quality reps every time, it goes a long way. So again, at the top there, have a slight pause, half a breath, and then coming back down. So this is the final set of chest to bar pull-ups here. I really wanted to get at least one round in the second part. Didn't not that it looks like it here. So what I end up doing on this final set of chest to bar pull-ups is doing all 10 unbroken, which I'm more than capable of doing. I could have, if I was at 100%, I would have done all my chest to bar pull-ups unbroken from the start. Pulling movements, something that has been in the past a strength of mine, so I still would have broken up the thrusters. Not that it's a heavy weight or anything like that. It's just looking at more the second round, the second part, which is the second 5-rounder. Now during this rest, I end up taking actually longer than 1 minute. I didn't realize it at the time, but yeah, well, I did towards the end, but as I was in it, I didn't realize how slow I was moving. So I ended up taking like a minute 10 or a minute 15 or something, instead of a minute. So, but it wouldn't have mattered anyway, as you'll see in a moment. So my plan, whilst I was putting on those plates, was to break up the second set of thrusters into 2 sets also. So I was going to do 4 and 3. And I've done 60 kilo thrusters before, many times. It is a moderate thruster weight for me, but for today, it wasn't to be. They felt very, very slow. Felt like I didn't have anything in the legs whatsoever at this weight. The weight wasn't moving up as fast as I would have liked. So yeah, it was singles and they felt terrible, to be honest. Here is where I really hit the wall. Just had absolutely nothing left. Legs just felt weak as. So I think I get another one or 2 reps. So just so slow out of the bottom there. A little bit of a pop at the top, but yeah, nothing nothing like normal. So that's the Open for 2024. Again, I was using this as a momentum builder, and I will continue to use it throughout the year. Till next WOD.